it's face like this because I'm the one that realized it. Like I can show you how I looked like last week, and I didn't have these eyes and look mangled. It's this Toronto system. So anyways, all these people, well, I'm not going to show you the pitch, but anyways, I look considerably, like from September 24th, I look like I've aged like 15 years since I've been in Toronto. But anyways, these people, they have augmented reality on cameras on, so they're not aware of what I look like, so I shouldn't be disfigured for people that are disfigured mentally and they don't realize what's going on, whereas I'm completely coherent and realize what's going on, so you only piss me off. So anyways, this video's long and short is, well, if you, it's a little bit harder actually. Like you know, you're better off having a metabolism where you have an opportunity to lose weight because that means you could tone up a lot easier, right? But it's harder to tone up, but it's harder to tone up because you have a natural inclination to maybe put on a little bit more fat than the average. But at the same time, when you're really skinny, you can't put on weight at all, right? So you can get toned, but you can't get put on size, right? Because like I just seen this woman walk by, she's perfect, right, for historical standards like of women on TV, but like she probably needed like maybe 10% more like size, right? So for her to like, and women want to be a little bit, have 10% more, right? Because then their thighs and their butt looks better, and their breasts, and with a flat toned tummy would be fantastic, right? And because this woman's perfect, right? But like perfect from today's standards, where the women on TV are usually skinnier. Like they look fantastic on TV, but when you see them in real life, they're a little bit too skinny for what men typically want. Because the women I see in reality that are walking with men, right? So men like women that are slightly thicker, and so with the wide angle lens, it stops people gaining weight on the film, right? So that women can be the more natural size, and which is good, right? Because historically that means a lot of these roles have been going to really skinny women, and who may not have been the best person for the role, but they had the best look for the video, right? So now this because there's more women that are thicker than there are skinny, right? So there's going to be more of a talent pool to draw from. So anyways, if you're in a big city and you need, like, you don't really see too many people in a big city like that need to lose weight, and it's fantastic. Like I just came from Sault Ste. Marie, and Windsor and Sault Ste. Marie, for some reason, they're overweight population, right? So there's several ways to combat that. Like if you're in a big city, the easiest thing you could do is just change your habit rather than try to go on a diet and lose weight. It's very easy to just make simple little life changes and then to improve your situation. Like so you don't have to park at the closest spot. Don't always go for the closest spot. Like park, like it's one thing if you're carrying lots of things, then you want to park close, right? But you know, a lot of people in big cities are skinny because, you know, you have to walk a block everywhere you go. Like you park, you have to walk a block to the store, walk a block back to the car, right? And you're always walking, right? And it's designed poorly, right? So you know, you might come out of the subway, and then you have to walk a block for the streetcar or the bus, right? And so it's poorly designed sometimes, and then it's just bigger and spread out, right? It's not economical. Like ergonomics is when it's conducive or works well with the human body, right? So an ergonomic system would be where, like, well, right over here, see all these buildings. Right there, they should have a lot of amenities. Like with that many buildings right there should be a restaurant nearby. Like they should have a walking clinic. Like these are guaranteed businesses, right? Like some sort of restaurant, walking clinic, and they, like, right over there is the water, right? They get to see the water, right? So they could have some sort of theme for boats, and people are gonna naturally like the water there. And pretty much everybody that's facing the city, they do got a spectacular view, but they're disappointed that they didn't get a room on, like, their unit wasn't facing the water, right? Because the other side is Lake Ontario, right? So that's a gorgeous view. The only thing better would be to be on the side, because then you could see both the water and the city, right? So then, so let's see, so it would have a walking clinic, maybe something like a Rabba, a 24-hour store where you could get deli type products, like you know, like if in a big city you want to you don't want to be shopping like once a month or whatever, right? I'd rather personally like come home and then just run down to like say a Loblaws or a Rabba and when I didn't feel like cooking, and then getting some Greek pasta or whatever, right? You can get like a Loblaws, it's a full service grocery store. So yeah, they would need a full service grocery store, right? Because there's at least 5,000 people there, and I bet you there isn't a grocery store nearby, right? So like you know, easily, so they could have a grocery store, a walking clinic, and then some sort of entertainment for so maybe some sort of bar, like just a little, because there's thousands of people, right? And they're all condos, right? So they're all making decent money, right? But you know, so it's you being more ergonomically correct. So the whole point of this video is, so if you wanted to lose weight, all you have to do is just go that a little extra mile and make these lifestyle changes, right? So walk a little bit further to where you're going, and then if you can, like I read in Men's Health magazine, and when I was 18, how if you want to sculpt your butt, you just take 2 steps at a time when you go up the stairs, right? So when you're walking, just take a slightly bigger step than normal, and then you're going to be stretching your hamstring and your butt muscles, and then you're going to be working them out slightly. It's like doing a whole bunch of lunges and stuff like that, but you're just doing it throughout, like changing your lifestyle, so you don't even notice the change that you're like in effort-wise, but you'll notice the results. That's the main thing, right? And then and then eating till you're full, and never eating past you're full, or past being full, unless it's a holiday season, ideally. Like if it's the holidays, like Easter, like, you know, most of my life anyways, up until like the last several years, like, because you know, food has been kind of scarce, right? So sometimes I do eat more than being full, but you know, most of my life, the only time I eat past being full would be Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, you know, at feasts. Like when your family's feasting, then you want to eat, like, that's okay to eat past being full, right? But and maybe Boxing Day, so only 4 times out of 365 days a year, right? So very rarely eat past being full, because your stomach's like a balloon, right? So when you eat, you're stretching that balloon, right? Like, or if you eat past being full, you're stretching that balloon. But if you only eat till, even like, just say you normally eat, let's say 3 pizza slices, eat 3 pizza slices normally, and then you're full, right? So now try to eat 2 pizza slices. Right? You eat 2 pizza slices, you're going to be hungry in a little while, but you're going to shrink your stomach, so your stomach's not going to stick out as far, so you're going to look like you lost weight, but even though you haven't lost weight, right? That's the beauty. But it's all psychology, and it's strategy, right? You always have to have the best strategy, right? So you know, make sure that you eat less. Like, there's several different body types. Like, this is all without even having to work out. Like, if you work out and all that, like, that's great, but you'd kind of want a calisthenic routine as well, right? So you want to, like, say you get a gym pass, because like, there's nothing better than going to the gym, right? You start feeling, you feel better. Like, you feel your body's like, wow, thank you for doing this, and then you get into a habit and you love it, right? But then that's great until you go on a trip, and then they don't have the same machines that you used to work out with, and for a period of time, right? Because they say it takes 12 days to get in or out of a habit, right? So if you do something for 12 times, like if you work out 12 times a month, 12 times within say 18 days, you're going to be in a good habit to work out, right? So if you do work out, you don't want to you don't want to work out with a partner, because then if they stop working out, then you're likely to stop working out. Everything you do you're doing for yourself to improve yourself, right? Your one human body and your soul, right? Well, even if you're a twin, you got to make decisions like for your soul that are different, or your partner, right? Like particularly, you have a different soul and a different trajectory out in the afterlife than they do, right? So you guys got to live for yourself and just eat. Like, it is eating meat. Like, if you were to eat meat, like, you can prove this. Like, I have proved this in my videos. If you eat meat, if you eat muscle, you get muscle. It makes sense to me, right? But if you eat like if you're a vegetarian, like they actually hack human biology to make it seem like vegetarians are going to be in really good shape, right? It could be all the extra effort some of them do too, but to make it seem like that. But if you think about it, a pig's fat, a cow's fat, horses have a gut on them, and all plant eaters, they're slightly big. Like look at hippos, big, right? They're all big, right? Because when you eat slowly, that means your metabolism's really slow. Whereas like a cheetah, its metabolism is fast because it has to sprint, right? So if you eat meat, you're gonna like, so eat good meat, like white meat. White meat is good, and like red meat, eat it. It is fantastic, it tastes fantastic, so eat it. But just in moderation, everything in moderation. Like, you know, if you do things in moderation, then you should be all right. And if you, the main thing is if you're 20, you want to try to like if you're a woman and your aunt or your older sister or your mom have a body shape that you don't exactly desire at that age, and you have their same body type as them, you just got to make a change now, like over the next 20 years, right? So it's simple, right? Like if you have because there's some women, because all it really matters, like, is as soon as you get pregnant by the man you love, right? That's all that matters, right? Because men, we love fantastic bodies when they're young, right? So we love our wives if they don't have a fantastic body. I was lucky with my wife, but I have seen some wedding dresses and then seen the wife after the wedding dresses and been shocked, right? But men, we love, right? If we love you, then it doesn't matter how you look, right? And that's how it should be for women too, right? Because like there's a lot of beautiful women in Toronto. There's like tons. Like I've seen like yesterday, like at least 100 that I've seen, like 100 women that were like amazing, like in the last several days, right? But the looks only get you, like the rock stars say, looks only get you through the door, right? So it's all personality, right? And if you so the more you have in common with people, the better off your relationships are, right? So somebody so once again, if you want to lose weight, like just that few little pounds, if you'd be like, say there's a little dog right there that they have really short legs. It looks like a bull mastiff or something, so it's a little too small because the owner was trying to walk the dog previously, and then the dog was like, no, I'm not going anywhere, my legs are too small, like I've walked so far to get here, it's time for you to carry my ass home, right? So you kind of need a dog that has a small to medium dog, so they have a little bit longer legs, like maybe like almost a foot long legs, like, you know, over 6, like that dog has 6-inch legs, right? They're like just small like that, right? So like maybe bigger legs, because I remember having a small dog, and you know, a 20-minute walk, I'd have to carry her halfway home, right? But if you can't have a super big dog, because then you have to go to work and you leave them in your apartment, right? So it's I do have some technology that's going to be coming out in the future, because basically dogs are we're making them suck long term, right? Because they're like, a wolf is supposed to like hunt some like 40 square miles every day, so it runs lots, right? So like a German Shepherd or a big dog like that should run probably 20 miles a day, right? So we need to exercise our dogs better, because all we do is make them lazy, right? They lay there, and overall, like all pet dogs, right? They're all pretty lazy. It's pretty awesome being a pet, right? You don't have to worry about food, and you just go to sleep when you want to, and you get to play with them. It's pretty awesome, right? I'm a realist, right? So I know that like your dog's like waiting for you, because I love dogs. They're super loyal, and but they know you're coming home soon, right? So as soon as you go to press the key, like pull the keys out, and they can hear the keys through the door, right? Because they have better hearing than us. They've already finished licking their crotch for like 10-15 minutes, and then you come in, you're like, oh, Poochie's, right in there, and then so like you're you know, they just clean themselves and then they lick your lips, right? So that's a little gross, but I do love dogs, but they do like to lick my skin a little too much, right? So that isn't good. So any subliminal that they add for the bill, C18, lack of awareness, campaign. So long and short of this video so far is walk a little bit further. Like when you walk, just make your strides a little bit longer. Walk up 2 steps, 2 flights. Like if you're a tall woman, walk up 2 stairs at a time. Your ass and thighs are going to look fantastic. Like, you know, unfortunately, I'm sitting down panhandling right now, right? So I do see a lot of, like, I see waist down from people, right? So I like, it's unintentional, but like I'll look over and then I'll just see a fantastic, glorious female buttocks, right? And it's like just a bonus to my situation, I guess, right? I'd rather not be panhandling myself and not having to look at people, but it is. But anyways, the long and short of it is so eat a little bit less, and like so if you had the 3 pizza slice analogy, so try to say eat 2 and 2.5. So cut 1 in half, and then put it in the fridge, and then eat it when you're hungry, right? So when you go to eat it when you're hungry, you eat it like you're like, say, since it's the first time, you're usually eating 3 slices in this analogy, right? So your body's probably going to be hungry about, say, 45 minutes, an hour later, right? So then you'd eat the remaining half slice at that point, right? And then so the next time, right, you just try to go a little bit longer in between cravings. That's all you ever do. If you're trying to quit smoking, smoking's hard because quit smoking, like, you know, me, for instance, like, I didn't smoke for like from May till like September, really. Like, so it was, I had no urge to smoke, but I just like the act of smoking, so I smoked, right? And with my body, like, without any extra, like, people adding stuff to the tobacco, it shouldn't harm my body whatsoever. I'm unique because I have unique biology. But anyways, so with the smoking, because you get up in the morning, you want to smoke, and then you eat, you want to smoke, and then after you have sex or something, you want to smoke. You have all these little habits within one habit, right? So sure, you smoke, that's a habit, but you might have, if you smoke 20 smokes a day, you have like probably like 12 habits, 12 different individual smoking habits, right? So you just need to quit each of those habits individually, and then to collectively stop smoking, basically. Right, so the easiest thing to do is understand psychology. Whenever you have psychology, try to maximize it, right? Like, so if you don't want to do something, you sleep, you don't do it, you wake up, it's like, hey, I didn't do it for the last 8 hours, I'm going to build on this time. So it's like, because, like, well, if you want to quit smoking, for instance, or eating is even harder, because, like, people have to eat to survive, right? So that's the addiction I feel the most sorry for, because you need to eat to live, right? So how do you, it's one thing, I don't need to smoke to live, right? I don't need to drink coffee to live, or you know, any vice that people might have. You don't need that to live, but you need to eat to live, right? So it's eating sensibly, and so meat is better for you than I've demonstrated. Like, it's better for you muscle wise, but you have a shorter life expectancy at the same time, right? So you do need, that's why it's white meats. But if I was to eat muscle or meat, which is muscle, then and I'd show you the nanotechnology that's in my body, brain computer interface. I've already made videos. Right now I'm kind of overweight, but if I wasn't overweight, I'd look really shredded. I'd look super muscular. Like, my muscles are trying to bulge out of the muscles themselves. Because well, if you look at meat eaters, they're all skinny. All meat eaters in the wild are skinny, and the only we're omnivores, right? So we're like bears. That's why people are likely to get big too. But if you look at monkeys, like, they're pretty skinny, right? There's really because they could eat meat and they climb, right? You know, like, so that's part of the skill set of being human that we've lost over the generations. Is I'm 47, right? And right now it'd be hack, but how many 47-year-olds could do like a 10 push, like, chin-ups? Probably nothing, right? And think, we used to be monkeys. We used to spend like 8 to 12 hours a day swinging from our arms, right? So that used to be our dominant skill set, was our upper body. Like, that's why we have fantastic upper bodies, because we're used to hanging them. Like, that's the bread and butter of being a primate, is we could climb trees and we could hang, but we don't climb, right? So like
in school, we need to start making these kids start climbing like young, right? Like there needs to be like rock climbing like simulators, like in every gym they need to have a rock climbing thing, because like, well, for me in elementary school, like we had they had the gymnastics part that was against the wall, and it would come out and then it had all this apparatus. I looked forward to that every year, like climbing and swinging, and like there's that one exercise where if you have it comes down with two ropes like that, and then has the rings, and then you hang, and you have your arms out like this, both sides. But men that do that, are you kidding me? They have the best physique that a man could possibly have, like for upper body. The only thing that, if they had like say soccer player quads, and with the iron cross torso, like that's pretty much the perfect male physique, right? Like if every guy was walking around like that, women would be very happy. And so women, you can squat. Squat makes your thighs, hamstring, and ass look better. And but you don't even need to. Like you can if you have the time. But so you want to kind of get into a calisthenic routine. So it's once again, if you go to a gym, it's great. Go to the gym, but don't, like a couple times in the work out from home. Develop a calisthenic routine that you can work out from home. And all you do is look at like this. They say there's 3 different types of body mass, but there isn't. There's 5, right? Because there's small, medium, and large, right? But then there's small to medium, and then medium to large, and then large, right? So there's 5, right? So then now look at your body type online, like just do a search on the internet, and then do a search on the internet and see your body type, right? So now you know your body type. And then what you do is you're like, okay, well, how do I best nourish or eat and when I want to work out? So, because sometimes you have to drink the protein shake before you work out. Sometimes it's like a half hour after you work out, depending on your body type, right? So always learn about what your body type is, and then and even try to search how is it bad, like how could I best work out accordingly. I'd suggest getting ChatGPT on your phone. It's a artificial intelligence system, and then tell questions, ask it questions, and I don't usually subscribe to things that I subscribe to ChatGPT easily. It was such an easy decision because how useful it is. It is inaccurate in some ways, but all you have to do is just verify the facts, right? So if they're saying, okay, well, it's a red bandana, right? You work out with the red bandana, right? So then be like, okay, on the internet, like, so is it true that you work out with the red bandana? And then it's be either yes or no, right? So obviously the bandana wouldn't help you work it out. So in that scenario, it would be no, it doesn't. But it does keep the sweat from getting out of your eyes, right? So that's why if you're in the military, they need to have a bandana, and ideally a camouflage bandana, because under your helmets, because then if your helmet's on, you're sweating, all the sweat's going to want to pour down your face, and if you're trying to shoot and you're trying to wipe sweat out of your eyes, you can die, right? So that's why a bandana, when you bend down like this is the perfect bandana. That's why I seen a tennis player that had this, and it's kind of like my tennis athlete, and then I see a rock star, and then also my Japanese ancestry, because they had in the Karate Kid they had these, right? But it's perfect because it keeps this part of your head open, so this part of your scalp can breathe. All the heat gets released right here, and then any sweat comes towards here, and then it doesn't get into your eyes, right? Because I know when I worked labor jobs, when would be bending over work, and I'd get sweat in my eyes, right? So I can only imagine in a war scenario where I'm trying to shoot and it's hot. I have all my gear on, and then you get sweat in your eyes, right? So anyways, then with the bandana, like a camouflage bandana, now for any nighttime maneuvers or during the day, you can be camouflaged from here down, right? Because you have your dual purpose bandana, right? And it's light, right? It's like less than a pound, and it adds so much value to your kit, right? Because I know if I was in the army, sure there would be protocol that they would have, right? But I'm trying to pick up some special gear that I'd like myself, like light stuff, under a pound that I could carry, and just to maximize my comfort level and my performance as a soldier. So once again, long and short. So take longer steps if you're working out. We'll get a gym pass and then a calisthenic routine at home. and then make small lifestyle changes, like so taking a longer step each time you walk. Don't always take the elevator, take the stairs take the stairs instead of the escalator sometimes, especially if your hands are free. If you have free hands, then walk if you're not in a hurry. And don't park at the closest parking spot. Go the extra mile. And then, so those are just changes that you can make without even you never heard me once say stop eating food, right? And you're gonna look better, and you could eat the same things, right? Because you don't want to. One thing you don't want to do is count calories. You never want to count calories unless your job is to be, unless you get paid to because you on your body size. So if you're a prize fighter, you're some sort of a fitness model, or if you get paid based on your body size, then count calories. Because what counting calories does is it adds stress to your life. Because all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I can't eat that. It's 46.6 calories, and then I need that, and then it's just stress, right? So all the sure, your body looks fantastic, but all the negative stress that you're putting in your body from being harsh on yourself, basically, you're not loving yourself when you're counting calories. If you're working out, you can cheat as long as you don't. If you cheat, you have a cheat day, right? Just work a little bit harder next time you go to the gym. Make sure you sweat. Always sweat it out, right? But basically, if you work out, you want to be able to eat and drink what you want and not have to worry about it. But don't even stress out. Even if you're not perfect, right? If it's your job to be perfect, then it's one thing. Right, then it kind of stress goes with your job, right? But if this is just for your personal well-being and love, you're gonna love yourself, right? As long as you're working out, doing those runs, making those, getting a dog, even a little small dog, like with its legs about almost a foot tall, a little less than a foot tall is probably and the small to medium dog would be perfect for Toronto because unless you live in a house and you have a yard. Right, because if you got a 2-bedroom apartment or whatever, right, that's kind of small for a big dog, right? You need right now, anyways. I'm gonna have technology coming out that's gonna help with things, but anyways, you just walk your dog. Your dog's gonna, especially a small to medium dog, is kind of great because they have a smaller bladder, so they're gonna have to go for frequent walks. So it gives you an opportunity to come home, and then as soon as you come home, you can take them for a walk. Ideally, if you live close enough you want to live close by work, right? So you're coming home at lunch, take them for a walk, and give them your puppy loves, like how you love them, and so they don't get separation anxiety, and then you take them for a walk, right? And then after work, especially those 5 buildings that I showed you, or 4 buildings, it is 5. But those 5 buildings, that you're right on the boardwalk, right? So every day you can take your dog for a walk, and you have this amazing view, and you're going to meet people socially because you have a dog, right? If you want to meet people, the best thing the easiest thing to do in North America is to get a pet, a dog, and you walk a dog. You're going to meet all the dog lovers and all the people that love dogs, and you're going to make friends, right? Right now, I'm kind of I have to get on my feet, but if I was just a regular person, I just came to a big city, the first thing I would be doing is looking for a job, which I'm doing, and then a place, right? But then the first thing I would want to do myself is to join a sports team. I'd want to join a sports team because then I could meet players, right? Especially if it's April, I'd want to join, a mixed baseball team, right? So I have a chance to meet some guys, buddies, and then meet some women, right? Even if I don't meet the women on the team, then I can meet one of the friends of the women on the team, right? And then you kind of build your social. Because when I was a kid, I go to the Y because I love the Y. I never went to the YMCA as a kid with a friend, not once, but every single time I left, I made a friend, right? Because I'd go up every Sunday by myself, and I'd play. I love basketball at this point, and I'd go up and play, and I would just look for an odd number of players. If there was 5 players, I'd be like, hey, do you mind if I jump in? And then or 3 players, and or one player by themselves, and that's how it used to be, right? You just see so I've done that in Toronto even twice. I went to in the summertime, I seen people playing beach volleyball. It's there's an odd number of beach volleyball players, right? And then so I want to play, right? So I did actually twice. Once was with women, and then once was with just men. And I prefer just men because then I could be a man and be competitive, right, and try to compete. But with women, right, then you can't really try as much, right? You don't want to be coming in as like Joe pro athlete type guy, and you're smashing the ball, and meanwhile everybody's just casually having fun. Because what happens when you're me is I'd play poker with people, and they would I'd get invited over, like usually maximum twice before I wasn't invited over anymore because I'd always win, right? Because they make poor decisions, right? They play with Jack 7. Jack 7 in Texas Hold'em poker is pretty atrocious. The only time I play Jack 7, because I do play it frequently now because I'm more experienced. It's because I'm more experienced, and I just want to play a hand at that point, and I just happen to have 2 cards, and they happen to be Jack 7. I never play them hoping to make a pair of Jacks or a pair of 7s. Like, obviously, that's the best case. Well, the best case scenario would be a 4 of a kind of flop, 3 Jacks, right, would be the best case scenario. But, like, so I am hoping to develop a hand and win, don't get me wrong. But I'm almost guaranteed going to bluff if the situation presents itself and play Jack 7. Right? It's a terrible hand. So anyways, these people would play these terrible hands, like, and I read a couple poker books, and they beat them. Like, I've won three tournaments with over 1,000 opponents in it. And so anyways, not enough with that. So eating less, so not eating until you're full, and then like saving some leftovers until you're hungry, and then once extending that time period. Like, if you usually, like, okay, now you're eating your leftovers within an hour, then try to wait for an hour and a half, or try to split it up. And you don't want to eat. I found when I ate before I went to bed, I'd wake up hungry, right? So then I've conditioned myself to want more food than necessary, right? So you don't want to eat then sleep, and you don't want to eat before you go to bed because you're going to be hungry. It's one thing, maybe have a drink, like, you don't want to drink too much because you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, but you want to, like, maybe like a half a glass of water, or some water. Water is always good for you, right? Like, water isn't everything, but water, want to, like, drink some water, because don't drink too much of it, but it's drinking the right amount of water. And if you eat salt lots, so eliminate salt if you could, and butter, like, maybe have butter on toast. Like, for me, like, I think it's repulsive, like, eating a sandwich with butter on it. Like, I thought I had regular biology like everybody else did. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to eat salt or butter and or condiments. Like, so you can save a lot of, you could lose a lot of weight just by eating less condiments. And like, so maybe the certain flavors that you like for each particular meal, then use those condiments. Don't use them just because you use them all the time, right? Like, so, because condiments are calories, right? That you don't get full off of condiments. They just taste good, right? So that's that'd be the food triangle. Then would be so imagine that this was like that. So the food triangle would be like how much food you need to survive, and then how much you like it to taste, like how much you like taste, and then what you want your ideal body to be would be the triangle, right? So you can't have all three, right? So you got to, but you can eat the food that you need to like eat when you're hungry, and then try to condition yourself to eat, make these small lifestyle changes, and then rather than big monumental changes. Because, like, if you're too big, if you're obese and then you start working out, you're going to end up with brutal stretch marks, right? But if you slowly lose weight over time and allow your skin to shrink, because your skin expanded to get that big, right? But now it needs to shrink to recuperate. So you do it slowly. You don't want to just start running and jogging if you're obese. You want to start walking. And then eliminating your why. I guess if maybe if you wanted to help yourself out, you want to take a pill, like any type of medication that's like over-the-counter medication that's non-habit forming, and consult a doctor for this, obviously. But if you were to take a pill that put water in your stool, then you're going to be putting all the extra water that you drink, and you're going to make sure you poo it out, so you're going to lose weight that way. Because I've noticed, because over the even though in the future I'm going to be able to show that based on my genetics, like it'd be very hard for me to be overweight. But I noticed that my stool, there wasn't as much water in my stool during the weight gaining process, right? So then to have water in your stool, you'd want to, like, you don't want diarrhea, but you do want liquid in your stool, like a wet stool, because then you're getting rid of all that water. You're going to get thirstier often, so just drink less. But if you're a big person, right, it'd be great a great way to lose weight is to have water in your stool, right? Because you might be losing a pound every day. Like if you say poo 3 or 4 times a day, like 3 times a day, you might lose a pound of water weight just in water, right, in your stools, right? Like just that much water in your stool, like you could be losing, like say 50 milliliters every poo. Like a big poo, you're gonna like probably like quite a bit of water, like a lot of weight. It's gonna, over a week, you're gonna notice a difference, right? And not stretching your stomach. And like ideally though, if you're trying to lose weight, then you want to gain, or you want to stop eating right before you feel you're gonna be full. And like even if you end up having to throw a little bit of food, right? Like they do say waste not, want not, but you're wasting your life away by not going after what you want, right? If you look at it like, so if you're eating too much, then you're wasting like a little bit of food, right? But at the same time, you're not going to live as long, right? So you want to live a healthier life, so you have to waste a little bit of food so you don't waste your life, which is more important. So just like, because usually for me, like I feel like I'm about 90% almost full, then I can feel like, okay, like at that moment when I'm 90% almost full, that should be when it's like, okay, I was trying to lose weight to be like, okay, I'm full now at this point. Sure, I'm gonna be hungry, or like, the first day or two until my stomach shrinks, then so I might gonna cheat and eat, and then as long as I cheat and eat and extend that period of time longer, then I'm gonna do better over the long run, right? Because everything you do, life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, right? It's not a 100-meter dash. It's like a non-stop battle, like that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And so it's making decisions long term always. When I play poker, there's a lot of people that they do make the right decision when they call when I'm bluffing. But I do stress on when I'm filming, like that they made the right decision, but that was the right short-term decision, but that was a poor long-term decision. That's the difference, right? So like when somebody's bluffing, it's like, is it the right decision long-term, right? Like if you have, say, a pair of aces in poker, but there's a potential 4 of a kind on board, or a full, if there's a 4 of a kind, that means there can be a 4 of a kind full house every single time. Right, so if you're making a strong call, like, yeah, right, with your ace king or whatever, your pair of kings or aces, and then you're right, then like even if you have 2 pair, then that means you're right short term. But if you make that decision long term, every single time, you're going to end up being a losing player mathematically, because like you're going to run into because you don't usually go broke with the weak hands, right? You go broke with the big hands. So the same thing with because this is a weight loss video, so you don't want to go broke by with the big hands. So you don't want to like around the holidays, people in North America probably gain a lot of weight because you're eating Christmas Day, or you're eating lots of big meals, right? So like it's one thing to gain weight, but then with the little dog, you could go for walks or walk in a little bit, parking a little bit further away, and it's better for your car. You're gonna get less things on your car anyways, and just walking, going that extra mile, like you just like changing lifestyle habits, but then going after your goal, right? If you want something, you have to tackle it and build on the confidence of your successes of previous goals, right? So you started with small goals, and then you like, yeah, I did it, I made it, yeah, okay, I'm gonna try something a little harder. Then you try, you might fail. It's like, okay, well, what did I learn in this failure, and how, like, because Thomas Edison, he tried to invent the light bulb. Well, he invented the light bulb, right? And they're like, well, how come you did it 1,000 times? How come you didn't give up? It's like, I did it 1,000 times. I learned almost like 999 different ways how not to make a light bulb, right? So he had it figured out, and he didn't get defeated mentally, right? Because it's all psychology. It's all psychology. Always use your psychology and your mentality to tough it out and then get through situations. And but based on historical behaviors of what worked well for you or what worked well for other people in your situation, right? So if you want to survive, then you got to do the right thing and not prey on people and just be good. It's called karmic, but I call it karmatic because like there's drama, then dramatic, right? So why wouldn't it be karma and karmatic, right? So there can be multiple words for language could grow, right? So you got to grow too. Language could grow, music could grow. All like on the guitar, right? There might be 5 or 6 different chords, but like to me, there's over 70 chords on a guitar. Right, so just because the guy that invented it only seen, just because historical norms say that something is here, doesn't mean new people like us, we can't make it and create new things, right? Because any sound that you can replicate and it sounds good is music, right? So on guitar, any note that you come up with yourself, that's a note. So name it, and then like that would be a note, as long as it's a repeating sound that you can repeat it every single time and it sounds good to you and it sounds good to other people, but primarily to yourself. Because it's one thing if you're doing it like, yeah, it sounds good to me now, but that you got to film it, listen to yourself how you really sound, and then do you like it at that point, like digitally. So once you listen to it digitally, like, do you really like how you sound? Because I call my salacious voice like this, right? So maybe it doesn't sound like, so right now I'm like, yeah, that sounds fantastic, right? But then maybe it doesn't sound as fantastic. So anyways, walk, eat less more often. Like, so eat the same amount, but just spreading those meals out, shrinking your stomach, and just doing the little extra things. Like you don't want to gain weight. Like if you have issues with weight, then you're getting calories from what you drink and the condiments you put on stuff, right? And so you're gaining all this weight just because you want your drink to taste good, or you want your burger to taste. You need to have the ketchup, the mustard, the relish, and the salt and the pepper, all the vinegar and all this stuff, right? You could do with some of that shit. Do without some of that stuff, right? I'm not saying don't live, right? You're better off living a life that you fully enjoy eating, and you're better off to live to be in your 70s and eat red meat if you love red meat all the time, and rather than live unhappy into your late 80s, right? So it's all what you want, right? Because being a supercentenarian is you're spending the last several years of your life in a hospital, right? So that's not fun whatsoever, right? Maybe they got a problem where the body just doesn't want to die, right? Because it's one thing if you're active, you're able to live, and you're not restricted, then life, growing old is glorious, right? But when you're restricted and to a bed and you need machinery, then that's not too much. That's like a prison sentence, right? At the end of your life, right? So it's but anyways, so just make these good choices, and anytime you hear good advice, verify it with another source online, and share the good lies. And so this has been a SmartiChris production. So watch this brain computer interface wrinkles, and they're going to disappear in 3, 2, 1. That's how I disconnect people from my brain, because they listen to everything I say, but then they keep me poor. Because look at my half sister, she's older than me, and she has less laugh lines than I do. You know how much that pisses me off? I have the most exotic biology on the planet. I have a natural ability to have an 8-pack. Like most guys only can have a 6-pack. I can have an 8-pack. I'll just show you this. And but they're hacking my body. They're pretending I eat a lot more food than what I actually do eat. And they're pretending I'm eating like 100,000 calories a sitting. And this is all biological and chemical and genetic warfare on my body. But like, I'll just show you here. This is so you can see there's the top ab right there. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, and then the one right above my penis for 10. So most guys have 8. I would have 10. Most guys, but right now they make SmartiChris. They make me look like some titties.